नूर बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जू की जय। नित्यल्लप विष्णु विष्णुपाद अशुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यल्लप विष्णु विष्णुपाद अशुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल्लप विष्णु विष्णुपाद अशुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद अशुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज श्री परम गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद अशुतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल्प विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गोरक्षरस बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्यल्प विष्णु श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यल्प विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी गोमाय की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। सरथ दर्शनी वृत्ति की जय। श्री भक्ति विज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराजेर आविर्भाव तिथि आदिवास की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीश्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणेति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनेति नामिने। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तरभक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सार्वभूतहृदयां मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदन्तस्थो यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतं। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमं शरणान्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरि बोल प्रद्युम्न प्रभु मंत्रमूर्ति माता जी रसेश्वरी माता जी माधवी दीदी यशोदा दीदी गंगा माता जी हरि बोल everybody. And right now Rup Manjari is she's Nitai is having his first grains. Her baby Nitai, he's having his first grains just now, right as we are reading. So you can all pray for his auspiciousness. So, I am. What was I saying? Okay. I didn't know what to do today. If we should try to start chapter 86, and then anyways, I decided to just finish up this chapter. We only have 1,000 words left, and then just read either articles about my Paramgurudeva or by my Paramgurudeva. So like offerings from his godbrothers and disciples, or we could just read articles that he wrote. And tomorrow we'll also read more about or by him. I haven't planned anything. But if you have any preference, if you have anything that you'd like me to read, I'm totally open to it. Presumably, Book of Samskars? I've never heard of any Book of Samskars by my Paramgurudeva. Anyways, this is about, we're reading about Paramgurudeva right now. Yeah, all right, so I'll share my screen and then we can. Actually, Shivas just translated an article and sent it to me to proofread. We could read that also if you want. Mayavadir Brahmagyan. Anyways. Oh, you were talking about Nitai's Anaprasana. Yeah, Sadanti Maharaj is doing it. Yeah. All right. How about there's this beautiful article by Srila Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj. I really, yeah, it's a really beautiful one. Let's see, it's a younger brother's expression of distress and separation. No, I think that's Srila Bhakti Kumud Puri Goswami Maharaj's one. Yeah. So the next one after this is Bhakti Kumud Santa. Yeah, this one. A lowly servant's grief-stricken offering. This one's really beautiful. Let's read this one, and then after I will check whatever ones you want me to read. Let's make the spacing a bit larger. There, okay. Oh wait, first we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm so spaced out, sorry guys. Okay, so let's go over this chapter. Okay, the filler of devotees' desires. Having heard the sages glorify Krishna at Kurukshetra, Vasudeva started developing reverence towards Krishna and Balaram instead of treating them as his sons. Vasudeva glorified his sons and even fell at Krishna's lotus feet, begging him to drive away the conception that the Lord was his son. But Krishna restored that conception in Vasudeva instead, and he pacified him. Mother Devaki then praised Krishna and Balaram and requested them to revive her 6 sons whom Kamsa had killed, just as they retrieved the dead son of their guru. Krishna and Balaram went to the Sutala planet and met who worshipped them and offered prayers. The lords then requested Bali to return to Devaki's dead sons and brought them to their mother. Devaki felt a surge of affection for them, and milk began spontaneously flowing from her breasts. She offered them that milk which once Krishna had drunk, and which had now become his remnant. The 6 boys then regained their original forms as demigods and went back to heaven. All right, so that's what we're reading about today. All right, just finishing this chapter. We read up to 47. So let's start from the Okay, so after Vasudeva made his prayers to Krishna, then Krishna gave his response. Krishna said, "The Supreme Spirit, Paramatma, is indeed one. He is self-luminous and eternal, transcendental, and devoid of material qualities. But through the agency of the very modes he has created, the one supreme truth manifests as many among the expansions of those modes. The elements of ether, air, fire, water, and earth become visible, invisible, minute, or extensive as they manifest in various objects. Similarly, the Paramatma, though one, appears to be many." Shri Shuka Vacha. Shukadeva said, "O king, after hearing these instructions spoken to him by the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva became freed from all ideas of duality. Satisfied at heart, he remained silent. At that time, O best of the Kurus, the universally worshipped Devaki took the opportunity to address her 2 sons, Krishna and Balaram. Previously, she had heard with astonishment that they had brought their spiritual master's son back from death. Now, thinking of her own sons who had been murdered by Kamsa, she felt great sorrow, and thus with tear-filled eyes, she beseeched Krishna and Balaram. Shri Devaki said, "O Ram, Ram, immeasurable Supreme Soul, O Krishna, Lord of all masters of yoga, I know that you are the ultimate rulers of all universal creators, and the primeval personalities of Godhead. Taking birth from me, you have now descended to this world in order to kill those kings whose good qualities have been destroyed by the present age, and who thus defy the authority of the revealed scriptures and burden the earth. O soul of all that be, the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe are all carried out by a fraction of an expansion of your expansion. Today I have come to take you, the Supreme Lord. It is said that when your spiritual master you to retrieve his long-dead son, you brought him back from the forefathers' abode as a token of remuneration for your Guru's mercy. Please fulfill my desire in the same way, O Supreme Masters of all Yoga Masters. Please bring back my sons who were killed by the king of Bhoja, so that I may see them once again." The sage Shukadev said, "Thus entreated by their mother, O Bharata, Balaram and Krishna employed their mystic yoga maya potency and entered the region of Sutala." It's the lower planetary system where Bali Maharaj is. When the king of the Daitas, Bali Maharaj, noticed the arrival of the two lords, his heart overflowed with joy, since he knew them to be the supreme soul and worshipable deity of the entire universe, and especially of himself. He immediately stood up and then bowed down to offer respects, along with his entire entourage. Bali took pleasure in offering elevated seats. After they sat down, he washed the feet of the two supreme personalities. Then he took that water which purifies the whole world, even up to Lord Brahma, and poured it upon himself and his followers. He worshipped them with all the riches at his disposal: priceless clothing, ornaments, fragrant sandalwood paste, betel nut, lamps, sumptuous food, and so on. Thus he offered them all his family's wealth, and also his own self. Taking hold of the Lord's lotus feet again and again, Bali, the conqueror of Indra's army, spoke from his heart, which was melting out of his intense love. O king, as tears of ecstasy filled his eyes and the hair on his limbs stood on end, he began to speak with faltering words. King Bali said, "Obeisances to the unlimited Lord Ananta, the greatest of all beings, and obeisances to Lord Krishna, the creator who appears as the impersonal absolute and the supersoul in order to disseminate the principles of Sankhya and Yoga. Seeing you lords is a rare achievement for most living beings. But even persons like us, situated in the modes of passion and ignorance, can easily see you when you reveal yourself by your own sweet will. Many who had been constantly absorbed in enmity toward you ultimately became attracted to you. You, who are the direct embodiment of the transcendental goodness, and whose divine form comprises the revealed scriptures. These reformed enemies include Daitas, Danavas, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Pishachas, Bhutas, Pramatas, and Nayakas, and also ourselves and many others like us. Some of us have become attracted to you because of exceptional hatred, while others have become attracted because of their mood of devotion based on lust. But the demigods and others infatuated by material goodness feel no such attraction for you. I love that. Okay. What to speak of ourselves, O Lord of all perfect yogis? Even the greatest mystics do not know what your spiritual power of delusion is, or how it acts. Please be merciful to me so that I may get out of the blind well of family life, my false home, and find the true shelter of your lotus, which selfless sages always seek. Then, either alone or in the company of great saints who are the friends of everyone, I may wander freely, finding life's necessities at the feet of the universally charitable trees. O Lord of all subordinate creatures, please tell us what to do and thus free us of all sin. One who faithfully executes your command, O Master, is no longer obliged to follow the ordinary Vedic rites. Okay, that's where we read up to yesterday. What did Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur say here? Bali Maharaj, O Lord of all the jivas who are subject to being controlled, now please tell me, why have you appeared before me like this? O Master, please give me your order. Krishna replied, but what is your qualification for carrying out my order? Bali replied, please make me sinless, though I am incapable of doing so myself. I will become purified just by hearing that order. By executing your order, one becomes freed from all the injunctions and prohibitions of the scriptures. In other words, he is no longer a servant of rules and regulations. So let's hear Krishna's response. Haribo Bhavatarani Mataji and Surevi Didi. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Asan Marichesh Shatputra Urnayam Pratamintare Devakang Jahasur Vikshya Sutam Yabhitumadyatam. The Supreme Lord said, during the age of the first Manu, the sage Merichi had 6 sons by his wife Urna. They were all exalted demigods, but once they laughed at Lord Brahma when they saw him preparing to have sex with his own daughter. Commentary. Krishna by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Saratadashini. Krishna states the reason for his coming in 5 verses, verses 47 to 51. During the reign of Swayambhuva Manu, Urna, the wife of Marichi, produced 6 sons, who once laughed at Brahma for attempting to enjoy his daughter. Tena surim aganyonim adhuna vadyakarmana hiranya kashipur jata nitaste yogamayaya devakya udare jata rajan kangsa vihingsita satan shochatyatmajan swangs ta ime dhyasatentike. Because of that improper act, they immediately entered a demoniac form of life, and thus they took birth. Thus they took birth as the sons of Hiranyakashipu. The goddess Yogamaya then took them away from Hiranyakashipu, and they were born again from Devaki's womb. After this, O king, Kamsa murdered them. Devaki still laments for them, thinking of them as her sons. These same sons of Marichi are now living here with you. Commentary. By that improper act, they were immediately put in the womb of a demon. They were taken from Hiranyakashipu and then born to Kalanemi's wife. Hiranyakashipur Jata, meaning born of Hiranyakashipu, is used in this case to indicate the closeness of relationship rather than as direct sons, since they were born as the sons of the wife of Kalanemi. The purport of Sri Jiva Goswami to Srimad Bhagavatam 10:2, Canto 10, Chapter 2, verses 4 to 5, makes this clear because it refers to this verse. Srila Jiva Goswami gives an alternate explanation as well. Being born of Hiranyakashipu means that they were born as his sons in another kalpa. He also mentions Kalanemi as a son of Hiranyakashipu, but the Bhagavatam only mentions 4 sons and not him. The translator has put him as a son of Hiranyaksha. The Vaishnava Abhidhan mentions him as the son of Hiranyakashipu. Other sources say that Kalanemi was the son of Virochana, the son of Prahlad, who was the grandson of Hiranyakashipu. So who is right? Yogamaya first made them pass through one more life as children of another great demon, Kalanemi, and then she finally transferred them to the womb of Devaki. Devaki lamented for her sons, while Bali, the most glorious of Krishna's bhaktas, So Devaki lamented for her sons, while Bali, the most glorious of Krishna's bhaktas to see the Lord, pointed them out individually with his forefinger. The idea is that Bali Maharaj brought the sons there to be seen by Sri Krishna. Ita etan praneshyamo matri shoka panutaye Tata Shapar Vinirmakta Lokam Yasyanti Vijvara. We wish to take them from this place to dispel their mother's sorrow. Then, released from their curse and free from all suffering, they will return to their home in heaven. Commentary. Krishna said, being freed from the curse of Hiranyakashipu that they would be killed by their father and brought back by me, they will then go to the heavenly planets. Smarod Gita Parishvanga Patanga Kshudra Bhridkrini Shadime Mat Pasadena Punar Yasyanti Sargatim. By my grace, these 6, Smara, Udgita, Parishvanga, Patanga, Kshudrabhrit, and Grini, These six will return to the abode of pure saints. Commentary. Krishna names the sons according to the names they had as sons of Marichi. Ityuktva tan samadaya insenena pujito punardvaravatim etya matu putran ayachatang. Shukadev Goswami continued. After saying this, Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, having been duly worshipped by Bali Maharaj, took the six sons and returned to Dwarka, where they presented them to their mother. Tan drishtra balakan devi putra sneha snutastani parishvajyankam aropya murdhna jigrad abhikshnasha. When she saw her lost children, Goddess Devaki felt such affection for them that milk flowed from her breast. She embraced them and took them onto her lap, smelling their heads again and again. Apayayatstanam prita sutta sparsha parishnutam mohita mayaya vishnur yaya srishti pravartate. Lovingly, she let her sons drink from her breasts, which became wet with milk just by their touch. She was entranced by the same illusory energy of Lord Vishnu that initiates the creation of the universe. Commentary. Being bewildered by the Yoga Maya of Vishnu, by which the enactment of the Lord's spiritual pastimes and associates takes place, Devaki fed them her breast milk. In other words, it was not the Maya by which the creation of Brahma takes place. Pitva. Oh wait, sorry. I'm supposed to read the Sanskrit a little bit slower. Sorry about that. Let me. Pitva mritam payastasya pita shesham gadabhrita narayananga samsparsha pratilabdhatma darshana te namaskrita govindam devaking pitaram balam mishatang sarvabhutanam yayurdhama divokasam. By drinking her nectarian milk, the remnants of what Krishna himself had previously drunk. So by drinking her nectarian milk, which was Krishna's remnants, the six sons touched the transcendental body of the Lord, Narayan, and this contact awakens them to their original identities. They bowed down to Govinda. They bowed down to Govinda, Devaki, their father, and Balaram. And then, as everyone looked on, they left for the abode of the demigods. Oh, they didn't hang around very long, huh? I have a question though. Did Krishna ever drink the breast milk of Devaki? Anyhow, commentary. Devaki's milk is described as nectar because it was the remnants of what had been drunk by Lord Gadabhrita, Krishna, the wielder of the club. By contacting the body of Narayan, they realized their original identity as demigods and went to the heavenly planets. In accordance with the statement Pitro Sampashyato Sadhyo Babhuva Prakrita Shashu, before the eyes of Vasudeva and Devaki, Krishna immediately turned himself into a small human child, which is in chapter 3 of the 10th canto, verse 46. We can understand from the current verse, even though it is not explicitly stated, that after the Lord appeared in Mathura, Mother Devaki suckled Krishna once, so that he would not feel thirsty during the long trip to Nanda Vraj. Okay, so she breastfed him once. Tam drishtva devaki devi mrita gamana nirgamam mene suvismita mayam krishnasya rachitam nripa. Seeing her sons return from death and then depart again, saintly Devaki was struck with wonder, O king. She concluded that this was all simply an illusion created by Krishna. Evam vidhanyad bhutani Krishnasya paramatmana Viryanyananta viryasya Santyanantani bharata. Shri Krishna, the Supreme Soul, the Lord of unlimited valor, performed countless pastimes just as amazing as this one, O descendant of Bharata. Shri Sutta Uvacha Ya idam anushrinoti shravayed va murash. Sorry. Ya idamanu shrunoti yam idamanu shrunoti shravayed va muraresh charitamamrita kirter charitamamrita kirter varnitam vyasaputra. I don't know how to sing this one. Jagad Agabiralam Tar Bhakta Satkarnapuram Bhagavati Krita Chitto Yati Takshema Dhama. I got it. It's the same like Govardhan Vaspartana Dashakam. Ya idam anushrinoti Shavayirva Murarish Charitam Amrita Kirter Varnitam Vyasaputrai Jagaragabhiralam Tar Bhakta Satkarnapuram Bhagavati Krita Chitto Yati Takshema Dhama. Sri Sutta Goswami said, This pastime enacted by Lord Murari, whose fame is eternal, totally destroys the sins of the universe and serves as the transcendental ornament for his devotees' ears. Anyone who carefully hears or narrates this pastime, as recounted by the venerable son of Vyas, will be able to fix his mind in meditation on the Supreme Lord and attain the all-auspicious kingdom of God. Commentary. This verse speaks of the wonderful nature of Krishna, whose glories are full of nectar. Stories of Krishna destroy the sins of the universe and the disease of repeated birth and death. For the devotees who have already transcended material existence, they are the ornament of their ears. Thus ends the commentary on the 85th chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees in accordance with the previous acharyas. Alright, so the day after tomorrow we will read chapter 86. Arjuna kidnaps Subhadra and Krishna blesses his devotees. Alright, so now I want to read this article by Srimad Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj about my Paramgurudeva, whose 125th appearance day is tomorrow. And then after this, if there's still time left, maybe we could read a little thing by my Paramgurudeva. A lowly servant's grief-stricken offering by Srimad Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj. Respected readers, oh, and just letting you know, Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj, he was maybe just a little bit older than Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, and but he was, yeah, actually no, I think they might be the same age even, and they were in the same class together, I think. When they were kids in the Sri Chaitanya Mat in the Bhakti Vinod Institute. Let's see. Respected readers, today on the supremely sanctified occasion of the 100th anniversary of the appearance of Parama Pujapad Nitya Lila Pravishta Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, I have been instructed to glorify him in terms of his many qualities. In order to purify myself, I will only relate what I have personally perceived and experienced of his life and character, and nothing else. I was fortunate to have received the full shelter of Srila Gurudev's, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's lotus feet at the age of 11. At that time, I was and Srila Bhavan Goswami Maharaj at the age of 9. Um, at that time, I was living in the rented Kolkata Math at number 1 Ultadanga Junction Road and studying at primary school. Later, I stayed in the Math in Mayapur and studied Harinamamrita Vyakaranam. At the time, the present Acharya of Sri Gauriya Vedanta Samiti, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Vaman Maharaj, was my classmate. We lived together, studying, serving, and so on. Since then, I had the good fortune to be extremely close to Param Pujapad Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Vinoda and Naraharida's ideal character, Guru Nishta, Guru Seva, and Bhajan. In those days, all the residents of the Math affectionately addressed him as Vinoda. I also called him Vinoda. He had not yet taken sannyas. As the property manager in Sri Dham Mayapur, he took full charge of overseeing the estate. He was rather debonair and would ride a horse to tend to estate affairs. Vinoda naturally commanded so much authority that we were somewhat intimidated by the very sight of him. Although he was a brahmachari, all the sannyasis and senior godbrothers treated him with particular respect. At that time, Prabhupada's dear servant, Pujapad Shripad Narahari Prabhu, looked after the Math in Mayapur. He was, in a way, the mother of the Math. We all addressed him as Prabhu. He had a very accommodating nature and cared for all the youngsters in the Math with great affection. We therefore spoke with him openly and without inhibition. The grave and somber Vinoda, simple and straightforward Sri Narahari Prabhu made an astonishing transcendental combination. Together, they enlivened all with their ideal character and their exemplary faith in Guru, service to Guru, and bhajan. So much so that till today we have not deviated from the realm of bhajan. Theirs was a great friendship. Shripad Naraharida was always loudly chanting the names of Hari throughout the day, wherever he went, busy with various tasks and service to the Math. But we did not know what he did at night. One evening, I woke unexpectedly and saw that he was wrapped in chanting japa of the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, in gentle yet stricken tones. In a gentle yet stricken tone. I then, to my surprise, that his shika was tied by a rope to a peg in the wall. I knew it was not appropriate to disturb his harinam, so I went back to sleep. In the morning, I offered obeisances at his lotus feet with great sincerity and inquired, Prabhu, why did you have your shika tied to a peg in the wall last night while you were performing bhajan? He dismissed me affectionately, saying, Go and study. You won't understand all of this yet. You won't understand all this just yet. Then he continued, You see, I am busy all day with various services in the Math, so I don't get any time to chant Harinam. At night, when chanting, I tie my shika to the peg in the wall so that laziness and sleep do not overcome me. Such was his astonishing conviction in performing sadhan and bhajan. Worshipful Vinoda was a very grave and munificent person, devoted to bhajan. From the very beginning, he was well versed in Vedanta and other scriptures. He would stun everyone with his philosophical views, which were replete with the conclusions of bhakti and with his irrefutable logic. His appearance in this world. Shripad Keshav Maharaj appeared in a village named Banaripada in the Barishal district of East Bengal, Bangladesh. I have been to his childhood home. He was born in a well-educated and aristocratic family. Even though I was a very small boy at the time, seeing the luxuries they had, I wondered how he could have suddenly left living in such an affluent home with his mother, father, friends, and relatives to enter the path of bhajan. he surrendered everything for the service of Srila Prabhupada. Our Guru Padma, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, had so much effect, and why wouldn't he? Worshipful Vinoda had completely submitted his body, mind, words, and very life, his everything, to Srila Prabhupada. There were times when he even gave up all concern for his own life in the service of his Guru. During God's manifest presence, Vinoda was always ready to serve, and even after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada, he always endeavored to preserve the mats and preaching centers for Shuddha Bhakti established by his Guru. He also endeavored to preserve Srila Prabhupada's exemplary conduct and ideals. Though he met with a variety of obstacles and impediments in doing so, he never deviated from his duty. His firm conviction was that the lotus feet of his Gurudev were always on his head, providing him protection. On the strength of this confidence, he remained intent on the Manobhishta Seva of Srila Gurupad Padma. He was afraid of nothing, and he always spoke the unbiased truth fearlessly. He fulfilled Srila Prabhupada's inner heart's desires. After Srila Prabhupada entered Nitya Lila, all the daily, weekly, and monthly publications, namely Nadia Prakash, Shri Gaudiya, and Shri Bhagavat, stopped, along with the preaching of the Gaudiya Mat. Shripad Keshav Maharaj enthusiastically began publishing the monthly Shri Gaudiya Patrika in Bengali and the Bhagavat Patrika. Fearlessly, he preached Shuddha Bhakti in accordance with the conceptions of Srila Prabhupada all over India. To fully carry out this Manobhishta Seva of Srila Prabhupada, he first established Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti in Kolkata. Next, he accepted sannyas in the town of Katwa from his godbrother, a Diksha and sannyas disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Param Pujapad Shishimad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, by whose wish he established Sri Devananda Gaudiya Math in Koladweep, in Navadweep town. Around that time, in the midst of those grim circumstances, I too left the main mat to establish a mat in Keshiari. Mercifully, he set foot in that mat and fearlessly dismantled the false conclusions opposed to Shuddha Bhakti propounded by a certain bogus lineage in Apasampradaya there. In that crowd assembly, there was no one who dared oppose his conclusions and logic. Everyone who heard deliberations was struck with wonder. Due to his incomparable aptitude for preaching the message of Srila Prabhupada, he established preaching centers not only in Bengal, but all India. Even at present, his followers, disciples and grand-disciples are preaching throughout India under the auspices of Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. They are propagating Shuddha Bhakti and Harinam all out and establishing preaching centers and mats everywhere. Seeing this brings me great joy. He possessed all the symptoms of a Sadguru as described in the scriptures. During Shripad Keshav Maharaj's lifetime of preaching, I directly witnessed in him all the symptoms of an authentic spiritual master, a Sadguru, as described in the scriptures. Throughout his life, I never saw in him a single trace of the 6 enemies of lust, anger, greed, illusion, intoxication, or envy. Kanaka Kamini Pratishta Bhagini Yachajari Sheito Vaishnav. One who casts off wealth, women, and the tigress of prestige, and who has given up all bodily attachment, is a Vaishnav. That's by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he wrote that. I have directly witnessed in my life how he exemplified these words. Many persons accept the dress of a sadhu or sannyasi, yet they remain perpetually attached to wealth, women, and prestige. But I never perceived even a trace of a scent of the desire for wealth, women, and prestige in Shripad Keshav Goswami Maharaj's devotion-filled life. He did not come to this world to pose as a sadhu. Rather, he preached Shuddha Bhakti by his own devotional conduct. In this regard, he sets an incomparable example. Today, in separation from him, we are experiencing anguish of heart. Leaving us, he has gone from this world to remain forever in the eternal pastimes, in Nitya Lila. In this age of Kali, a topmost Vaishnav guru like him is extremely rare. Sri Gurudev is the eternally perfected embodiment of the Lord's mercy. The fortune to associate such a personality is not available to everyone. What does non-duplicitous service to Guru accomplish? Vaishnavera avedane Krishna doyamoy, eheno pamar prati hoi ben sadoy. The Vaishnav's prayers impassion, such that he may favor this wretch. According to this scriptural statement, mercy of the Guru can one attain eternal service at the lotus feet of Sri Bhagavan. There is no other way to obtain Sri Bhagavan. Srila Gurudev is the direct embodiment of Bhagavan's mercy potency. This material world by the Lord's will to deliver souls who are averse to Sri Bhagavan and to bestow eternal service to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Such an authentic Guru is obtained only by great good fortune. In this age of Kali, a topmost Vaishnava Guru like him is extremely rare. The occasion of him on the 100th anniversary of his appearance is beneficial for the self. Vaishnavera gunagan korile jivera tran. Glorifying the Vaishnav affects the salvation of the world. We have heard from the mouths of sadhus and Sri Gurudev that the soul gains deliverance by singing the glories of the Vaishnavas. To properly appreciate the occasion of his appearance, the non-duplicitous sadhak must endeavor to uphold the example he set. It is through examining his life that we can recognize the speciality of his appearance in this world. It is impossible to say how many Guru Sevaks have offered themselves at his lotus feet and are doing bhajan in Sri Gauradham or Sri Vrindavan Dham. The present Acharya of Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Vaman Maharaj, is also exuberantly spreading his teachings everywhere. In terms of succession, his ideal is exemplary. The recipient of his affection and mercy, Sri Narayana Maharaj Ji, is preaching extensively throughout India and abroad as well. It is true to say that I have received the affection and mercy of Pujapad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. However, today, on his 100th anniversary, as I look into my heart, it seems that I have not even come close to emulating his exalted example, nor have I completely or properly followed it. Be that as it may, he is compassionate and loving. On this sacred 100th anniversary of his appearance, I prostrate myself at his lotus feet and beg him to shower his merciful blessings on me, so that my life too will be filled with bhajan, and I will finally arrive at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. There is much to write about him, but there are many qualified and accomplished writers. I do not want to deprive them of space in the book by writing too much. In conclusion, I only wish to say that today, this fallen and lowly person considers himself fortunate to have had the opportunity to offer his fervent supplication at the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. May he be merciful to me. I am now 84 years old. The time has come for me too to depart from this world. Thus, on this occasion, I offer my Pushpanjali at his lotus feet and conclude my homage. Praying for mercy, the fallen servant Sri Bhakti Kumud Santa. This was published in Sri Bhagavat Patrika, year 41, issue 12. That's 1998. And some parts of the article were reordered for the sake of categorizing topics. Alright, so that is something about my Paramgurudeva. maybe we have like around 10 minutes left. So maybe we can read this, the Viraha Mangalya. This is in the first issue of Bhagavat Patrika. My Paramgurudeva wrote this. Viraha Mangalya, an invocation and separation. An editorial for the inaugural issue of Shri Gaudiya Patrika by Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. This is really nice, and it's not way too long either. Okay, Viraha Mangalya. Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Let me just look at the comments. Oh, Dandavat Pranam Sajan Maharaj. Okay. So Paramgurudeva says, he writes in the first issue of Gaudiya Patrika, this is an editorial. Today, amidst profuse joy and elation, all that has been awakening within me are the pangs of grief. Although I have been trying to conceal these painful emotions within my heart, my heavy sighs betray me, revealing my pain to the outside world. That burdened breath tumbles and heaves restlessly, and has now become the sounds of words. Those words are the very form of weeping. This language is either completely indistinct or partially indistinct, as that throat chokes up and the voice falters. Still, I believe that only when this concealed pain of separation is professed and exposed will it subside even slightly. But even bearing this in mind, today, as I set out to write, the torment I feel by not being able to see Shri Guru Padma or Thakur Srila Narahari Seva Vigraha Prabhu, who was devoted solely to serving him, mingles with my pen, causing it to falter at every step and proceed so slowly across the page. He who has even attracted the all-attractive Lord, Shri Krishna, and made him a captive within his heart. He who has overpowered all-powerful Bhagavan with endearment, and who can therefore deliver him into the hearts of others as he pleases. He who has gathered all the qualities of Sri Hari, proving the deceived condition of the Nirguna Brahmavadis, who believe that absolute reality is ultimately devoid of personal qualities. That Shri Guru Pad Padma, site of Purushottam Kshetra, Shri Puri Dham, as the spiritual master of the entire universe, to unfold and fulfill the deepest message of Sri Chaitanya and Sri Vyas. I am an addict of gross pleasures. My nature is heinously untamable, and I am a fallen wretch. And yet, he firmly grabbed me by the hair on my head and dragged me into his shelter, allowing me to become a particle of dust on the soles of his sacred lotus feet. His compassion surpasses even God's compassion. That Sri Guru Pad Padma, the greatest of all exalted souls, he who is indeed the ideal model within the clan Paramahamsas, he concealed the glory of his true identity from the world out of humility, and instead introduced himself as Om Vishnupad Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. The residents of this world address him with utmost respect as Srila Prabhupada. He has not just captivated all the residents of India, but the entire world with a brilliant scholarship. When the great leaders of distant Western countries beheld his visionary philosophical genius, they became astounded and fell at his feet. The adherents of opposing schools of thought, whose critical refutations of their doctrines are as severe as bolts of lightning, remain perpetually terrorized. The immovable, impenetrable expanse of his philosophical conclusions regarding service to Adhokshaj He who exists beyond sense perception, has forced the peaks of towering mountains to bow to him in veneration. Today, many people are tormented by the ancient that arose because he has concealed himself from us. His form shining with the most captivating supermundane effulgence. His form shining with the most captivating supermundane effulgence has embarrassed all worldly beauty. In refuting philosophies that are opposed to the conclusive truth, his heart seems to be harder than stone. Yet, his heart would become overwhelmed with joy whenever he saw someone performing even small service with excellence. He is the prime embodiment of that wonderful quality of Vaishnavas, summed up by the words, "A Vaishnav considers even the most insignificant service we render to be great, and he becomes at once indebted to us." Indeed, whenever he saw us render even the most insignificant service, he would heap praises upon us. And whenever he saw us make even the smallest mistake, he would shower his nectar-like rebukes upon us, which were always pregnant with meaningful instruction. Sri Chaitanya Math is the original Gaudiya Math. It is the king of all Srila Prabhupada's other maths, and is the most beloved by him. Upon obtaining his most intimate and trusted servant, Sri Narahari Brahmachari Seva Vigraha Prabhu, who is supremely worshipful for all, Srila Prabhupada entrusted him with the entire burden of service to Sri Chaitanya. Rid of worrying about the math and in great ecstasy, he was able to preach in far-off lands without the slightest hesitation. Today I realize, since the company of such a vile, fallen wretch as I is thoroughly poisonous, they have abandoned me and gone to a place where even getting any news of them is extremely difficult. O Naraharida, you are known to everyone as Thakur Mahashaya. Just by uttering your beautiful, most auspicious name, we are all reminded of the constancy with which you performed your service. You personally embody Srila Prabhupada's beloved Sri Chaitanya Math. As long as we were in your company, we felt as if we were truly living in Sri Chaitanya Math. You have shown the way to ideal service through your unperturbed and supremely blissful self, your Akrodha Paramananda Swarup. And striving for that ideal has become the sole aim of Sri Gauri Vedanta Samiti. Please see me as I try to serve your beloved Sri Gauriya Patrika and shower your kind grace upon me. And if I ever commit any please reprimand me. Just as there is a want of exemplary personalities to reprimand me when I make a mistake in my service, there is similarly a dearth of those who will express great joy when they see my. There's also a dearth of those who will express great joy when they see my small efforts to serve and encourage me congruously. O Srila Thakur Mahashaya, O Srila Prabhupada, the two of you are the sole captains of my spiritual life. Even though you both remain forever immersed in the bliss of your most exalted services, apical realm of the spiritual domain, please remember this fallen wretch and bestow profuse blessings upon me. Again and again, I beg you, please bestow profuse blessings upon me. Please bestow profuse blessings upon me. Today, this prayer, full of anguish, is my only supplication at your lotus-like feet. O Srila Prabhupada, you called your beloved magazines Vaikuntha Vartavaha, of the Vaikuntha message. They carried all the divine messages that your predecessor acharyas transmitted to you in this mortal world. Today, please convey a message to me from your supremely exalted place within the spiritual world, so that I can publish it and make the name Vaikuntha Vartavaha successful for the magazine I now begin. Translated from Shri Gauriya Patrika, Year 1, Issue 1, Gaur Purnima, 14 March 1949. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol, everybody. Oh, and today is a big Seva day. We're going to be publishing 3 articles in 3 different places. So one article we're publishing on Pure Bhakti. One article, Srivas just translated by my Paramgurudeva, which I'm going to proofread right now, and he's going to publish that on his website. And I also want to publish something on my website, Vine of Devotion. So 3 places, 3 articles. I'm going to be working all day on those 3 things because I'm not at all prepared. I haven't started any of the work. But you can see Srivas's website is bigdrum.us. If you go there, bigdrum.us, you'll see everything that Srivas publishes here is translated into English for the first time. So these are all fresh things. So yeah, if you go to his website, bigdrum.us, you'll see it here a bit later today. And also on my website, vineofdevotion.com, vineofdevotion.com, I will also publish something here about Srila Vamana Goswami Maharaj. Srila Bhakti Brigyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. So yeah, on both of these websites, you can just click here where it says subscribe, and then you'll also get, whenever we publish anything, you'll get it in your email, here also on my website. All right? Jai Shri Radhe. I'll do Jai Dwani now. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Sorry, what am I? Let me start over. I'm a little bit spaced out. Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupar Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vamana Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupar Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupar Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Pravishta Mahabhagavat Srila Gaurkishora Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nitya Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nitya Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa Anugauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Vraja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradatta Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. See you all tomorrow for reading more about and by my Paramgurudeva. Haribol, everybody. And it's a special Vyas Puja. It says 125th Vyas Puja. So what we read by Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj was written 25 years ago, 1998. Now today's the 125th. All right, Haribol.